Good morning, Heather. Good morning. It's too early for this. It's going to be rough. Andrew, there's no video on the feed.
Hey, what it do? I know. You know what? This is a lot like regular life anyway. Who's supposed to cheer for you? It's COVID. You know, no one's supposed to cheer for you. This is like, I don't know. How is everybody? I know the whole first shift of Cracker Barrel has just like paused in the middle of their hash brown casseroles. So,
That sounds so good right now. Is this going to be a new segment like Andrew Z's Fat Hack?
have you ever noticed that, like, when they make something all you can eat or bottomless, it's the last thing you ever think about getting? You know, like Red Robin with their bottomless fries. You don't get another basket. You don't. It's just, they're just like, hey, well, we offered it. Why don't you offer it? I don't think anybody would like pass up the opportunity to do like bottomless burgers. Yeah. This dude is killing me on the overhead on the cream cheese. This is ridiculous. Yeah. Man, dude, I look like I know magic, right? Like it is like I could cast a spell, turn a car into a paper plane. Like, yeah. This is I love this. This gives me credibility, because most people don't think that like anybody, under the age of 70 has gray hair, so they're just like, "Oh my god, this dude knows stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah. You know
My
what?
beard doesn't do anything for me. This
Well,
is
you should
crap.
pluck that. That's not acceptable." Th- Like, really? Yeah. Well, I apologize if you've only heard Gina and I. It is
I don't know. I think
you
we're great.
guys. You guys have been deprived of 50% of good conversation, and
Well, hopefully. Oh, you can't. They still can't hear you.
what about Jake?
Oh, D, this is the perfect time we can just ad lib for.
Uh,
We can make him say anything we want him to say, like he's our
well,
puppet.
well, that's. I'm glad you just considered that ad libbing because I wrote out this entire script of what I was going to do right now, and if we don't need it, I'll just I'll just throw it away.
Thing. All right, we're gonna see if that
Is
fixes
your
it. Let me start.
hotspot not working? Are you running this all through your phone?
No. All right. we might be. Colleen, let me know if we're fixed. I think we're fixed. But here's what I want to tell you guys.
Man, this is just like the old days.
Well,
he's so good with computers.
He just got fired from this station too.
Boo, boo, Ben Canop, boo.
I gotta tell you, D, is people think that because I was on the radio for so long that I know how to fix stuff, and I'm like, we had engineers for that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I barely know.
Do I look like I own a windowless van? Have you seen a radio engineer? They all look like they're on, like they have to report.
They do. It's so weird.
Every time they move.
Nobody heard your fat hack either.
I know. Well, here's what I'll tell you guys. If you can hear me now, which I think I fixed the problem. If you can hear me now,
You did.
Okay, I fixed it. Okay, so I apologize, you guys. We'll get caught up here in a second. I will say this will all go to the podcast. So if you download the podcast wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Android, iHeartRadio, which is ironic that they're going to let us put the podcast on the iHeartRadio app, but if you just get it there anyway. All right. So what I can't remember what I was going to say though. Now it was very important. Very important. Okay.
Hash brown casserole.
Oh yeah. You catch the hash brown casserole hack as well if you download this. If you missed any of it, because I have it all on audio. Okay. So Demetrius Nicodemus is back. We're going to start at 6 a.m. beginning Monday, October 19th. We're super excited. Gay Steve is back, which we can't call him Gay Steve anymore.
No. Woke Steve.
Woke Steve. Yes,
Woke Steve. 2020. Everybody's woke.
Exactly. Donnie P, Corey W. King, Jake
Woke
Dickey, Gina,
Corey.
Sugar Vermont. Everybody's going to be back Monday, October 19th, 6 a.m. And you don't have to get up at 6. It just means when you get up and get your day started, the show will be there as a podcast, so you can download it and listen to it whenever you want to, mornings, nights, or whatever. Here's the funny. I want to tell you the funny part is Cumulus, who also fired us. They're letting us run commercials to promote the show on air. Here's the thing. I couldn't say in the commercial in the morning.
Really?
That was their only stipulation. So stupid. I can't say in the morning. So
Dude, it's at the break of day. Come on. Come on.
But I said that's not necessary. It's a podcast. It's not necessarily the time. That's the name of the show. It's a title. They're like, nope, that's a deal breaker. So then I tried beeping it out. They're like, we still know what it says. You got to you've got to change it. So if you hear the commercial on the radio, then you'll see that it just says Andrew Z, the podcast, because they wouldn't let me say in the morning.
Andrew Z at dawn.
I know, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever.
Andrew Z.
When the sun crests the horizon, you may find him in the morning.
No, you can't say morning.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Sorry.
What is it? Anti-meridian?
It's a rough rewrite.
What is it? Anti-meridian?
First of all, stay in your lane. Like that is just. That's where people go wrong. That's how things go sideways. Is they start throwing out words and ending it in a question. Hey, so is it racism? No. Yes, it is. It absolutely is racism,
it is.
My friend.
Anti-meridium. Andrew Z in the anti-meridium.
Oh, yes. Okay, look at you.
That's what AM stands for.
See, we have Google. You could have put that out there way before that.
I know what I was saying. So anyway, Demetrius and I are eating lunch. So I pitched him this idea, and he's lukewarm on it, but he listened. But anyway, when I first met him, I was surprised. We're talking about gray. That's what it is. I was surprised how I'm like, dude, bro, you are gray. Even your eyebrows is gray.
It's true. It is. I don't know what else to say about it. I refuse to buy a dye kit or any of those things. This is just what it is. I mean, like, look, how am I going to be mad at somebody if I find out they got fake parts and everything? And she's like, holy crap, you're like 1,000. You know, like, that's not, like, he who was out without sin cast the first stone. You can't do that. Yeah, I tricked you. You thought I was 29, but I got grandkids 29. Ah!
Speaking of that, I actually had my mind blown the other day. A guy I went to high school with is only a couple of years older than me. Just became a grandpa.
Oh God!
And then I just saw another.
That's not a surprise. That's bad parenting.
That's not true.
So true.
My best friend is a grandma.
So what does that mean? Shame.
No shame, you guys.
You know what? I don't ever remember my grandparents saying, you know what I miss? I miss being able to chase you around when I was attracted to women. You know, they never did that. They were happy to be old. They made us get stuff. You know,
well, here's what's crazy is what is going on, and I don't know if anyone has the answer because I've never heard it. I listen to a lot of stuff, I ingest a lot of information, but I haven't heard this. But if you look at the way Wilfred Brimley, who's the oatmeal guy, who's the diabetes guy, when he was on,
who died recently,
he died recently. He was on Cocoon. And then they showed another guy.
It was Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, who's the same age that this guy was, that Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon, and he looks like 30 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know what's happened to our society.
Science.
But is it science? But we're eating shittier food and stuff. I don't understand.
It's all the preservatives.
Is that what it is? Because we look a lot younger than our predecessors did.
You know what? I honestly believe it's because, I mean, granted, now in an advanced society, like we worry about things, but back then they had real stuff to worry about.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
had to
like
walk to school uphill both
ways.
like
smallpox, you know, polio, Nazis. They had real things to worry about.
We still have that going on right now.
I was gonna say, I feel like you just described 2020. So,
but see, they didn't have Hulu.
Shit in a few hours.
What's that?
They didn't have Hulu. You know.
You're right. They had to obsess over this stuff because they didn't have the escapism that we do now. They lived in their shitty lives 24/7.
Right? I mean, they had the radio, and then all they heard was, "This is in, you know, Germans fly over England, bomb everyone. Everyone's going to die. No chicken. Have a good day." Like,
here's Marilyn Monroe walking.
Yeah, you know. So I mean, it's just people just we take a little more, you know.
You guys do terrible 1920s radio host voice, by the way.
Well, you're right.
Terrible impressions.
I refuse to do anything that's good from the 60s and higher because that's when racism used to be at its peak.
True. All right. And then, so the other thing, so Demetrius and I were talking, and I find out that he's, having to be the lead when it comes to his kids' parenting because his kids learning virtually. And he's like, men watch their kids a little differently than women do. Men play on their video games until they either hear something break or someone crying. And I'm like, that's so true.
Like this whole remote learning, my wife and I totally approach it in two separate manners. She sits in the room with him, and she's and I love it. She's like a kindergarten coach. She's like, yeah, good job. And what I do, because while I'm working, I have to do a lot of like video calls and consultations and things like that. What I do is I sit in my office with the door open and I wait to hear, "Daddy, I need you. Daddy, 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 Daddy." And he's opened up his video chat like 30 times in his browser, and you're hearing like echoes of everything, like blah, 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 blah. But
didn't know what he's done. He's sent himself down the black hole of Zoom.
Yeah.
Hey, Demetrius, have you mastered this one around the computer?
Oh,
what is that?
Yeah, whenever I'm on a call or a video call, I have to reach around the computer and do the little shut your mouth thing.
No, mine just sneaks in like he escaped from the basement. It is the worst. Like, he looks like, oh my God, if he finds me, he's going to bury me in the yard. Like, he'll sneak in and you'll just see this little blonde tuft of hair come sneaking up, and then I'll turn around and I'll go, "What?" And he's like, "Will you buy me an imaginary car for $5.99?
Oh my God, that's my life. I have 5 of them here. 5.
What, imaginary cars?
No, I have 25 of those. I have 5 children here
Oh, God.
that are all virtual learning. All of them.
No. No, no,
No.
no. This is why God gave us smallpox in the early days, because parents just couldn't walk out. So God took them with like polio and Indians and things like that. It was just how God rewarded parents. It was like, you're done, take a break forever. You know.
I go ahead, Jake.
I tell you what, I've dodged a lot of bullets so far in life. I have not fallen victim to the real pandemic that I've lost most of my friends to, marriage.
That is the real pandemic.
And I don't have any kids, so I'm not dealing with any of this shit.
Wow.
All I got to
You
do
know
is
what it
feed
is?
my cat. That's it.
Go ahead, D.
It's the main driver of all of this is because people don't want to drop dead and not be found. That is the whole thing. I need people invested in calling me, and when I don't answer, they show up at my house and they're like, wow, he's dead. You know what my worst fear is? My worst fear is being dead in an apartment for like a week. A week!
And no one even noticed you're gone.
And no one notices. This is the worst thing.
I'm not
I want
worried
my
about it.
5-year-old to
My
poke me
cat-
with a
My
stick.
cat will be fed. It'll be fine.
Gross. So we have two 13-year-olds, 11, a 9, and then a toddler. And we're like, we have to keep reminding ourselves. Remember, parenting is a joy, remember? We have to keep when you have to remind yourself.
It is not. It is not. I mean, I love my kids.
Of course.
But dude, if they told me there was a way I could have my kids and skip all this parenting crap, I would do it in a heartbeat. If there was like a plan I had to pay into monthly, and somebody else would come in and raise them, and I could just enjoy them. And
child support. It's not really that hard. Just leave.
First of all, that's not child support. We all know that the person that you're paying probably isn't doing the things that you wanted them to do in the first place.
What about getting a nanny
Yeah.
and being
It's
rich
just-
and famous?
No, that's too much of a temptation. People have sex with nannies. That's not a thing.
Well,
I just need somebody
Need a
like
nanny.
a
Get an ugly one, like Andrew.
look.
You'll have no problem with that.
Ugly ones are terrible with kids.
But even the ugly ones, you run the risk. Look at what happened to Arnold Schwarzenegger. That lady was not pretty. She was just around all the time. She just wore you down. She was like, maybe you want to have sex with me. And he was like, the first time, like, ew.
Right.
But then 1,000 times later, he's like, well, you know what? No one's around. I'm really done watching all my Terminator movies.
So true. Ladies and gentlemen, Donnie P in the house.
What's up, guys? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're doing great. We're talking about virtual learning with the kids and parenting. We have to keep reminding ourselves that parenting is a joy.
Oh yes, yes, it is. Well, Demetrius has been doing, and I don't want to take anything away from Kara, but I know you do most of the schooling, right, D?
I do all the schooling.
Yeah.
All of the schooling.
Yeah.
All of it.
This is me. I'm not letting anybody take that from me.
And that's why you do have the grace, so you have that professor look about you, so you look like you're doing a good job teaching.
Yeah.
So I don't, and I'm not bragging by any means because I'm going to catch some flack for this. So Demetrius and I are on the opposite side of this whole homeschooling thing. I am the one that's at work all day, and Ashley is at home, just trying to make it work. And I know it's not easy, and she's doing a great job. But I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know if anyone feels like they're doing a great job because of how difficult this has been. I mean, it's been crazy.
Well, and for me, go ahead, D.
I'm just telling you, I can't wait to see how many kids are truly fail once they get into like high school, because parents have taken these assessments for them, and because they're like, oh, I know my kid knows this, boom, 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 and then the next thing you know, your kid's like thrown into all these advanced classes because your dumbass decided you were going to help him through an assessment.
I know for a fact that here's what worries me too is because like Gina says, oh my God, I spent all day teaching my kid, and like I see online all these parents will be like, I'm exhausted, I've been teaching my kid all day, and I'm like, well, I'm home with kids too, but I don't hardly ever. They don't ever ask me for help, and they're done in like 2
you
hours.
know why?
And I'm like, something's going on.
Because one of them has told them, don't ask. If you can't, if it happens, you have to pick yourself up, because one time somebody fell down around you, Andrew, and called out for help for days, and no one came. And they were like, you just can't ask Dad. If you break something, it's best to walk to the hospital.
I feel like he just doesn't know the answers, Demetrius. I don't think it's that. I think he just has no idea.
Dee brings up a good point, because now it's making me think, because like the kids will find me. Let's say they'll come across me, even not even schooling, just in general, come across me, and they'll say, "Where's Colleen?" I'm like, "She's in the other room," and then they'll ask her something. I'm like, and I'm in my head, I'm like, they could have asked.
I could have answered that.
I know.
I had that answer, and they were like, "No, you didn't.
Now I know
you didn't have it."
Now I know why they've been talking and saying that I'm not the answer guy.
Yeah. You're
you know
right.
how many times I have to say, do you guys know you have a dad? A whole dad in the house that you walked by to come to me.
And they're like, but he's unreliable.
Well, there'll be times when they'll ask me a question and I'll answer it, and they're like, okay, great. And then they go check it with Mom too. You're like, all right, we're just going to cross-reference that answer with the real scholar of the family.
Well, and here's what happens. If they do come across me, and if I do make them ask me, Donnie, same thing, I'll catch them going to Colleen to verify the answer. They'll try to do it quietly, though. I'm like, what are you guys whispering about over there? And then they finally get them to tell me. I'm like, well, you just asked me that, and I gave you an answer. It's so ridiculous. They don't trust me. I don't understand. Anyway, well, we're excited, man. Thank you, Donnie, for jumping on. Demetrius Nicodemus, welcome. October 19th. Now, we were just talking, Dee, before you jumped on about how we think that there's a void in the audience because the show that took over for you out of Detroit, which, I mean, I guess every once in a while they do a Toledo story, but, you know, Toledo doesn't give two Fs about Detroit. And they talk a lot about Detroit. And then the new show over on 105, I mean, all they do is talk. I mean, they're Atlanta. They have Southern accents. I don't understand how they thought that was going to work up here. But, I mean, they're out of Atlanta. They're never going to talk about anything Toledo. So we decided now's the time. We're all from Toledo. We all live here. We're all raising our kids here. And we thought it was a perfect time to bring the show on. We'll be going earlier, 6 a.m., so everyone can get their day started right after. So whenever you wake up, whenever you start your day, we'll be available by podcast wherever you get your podcast if you can't watch it live, or you can watch the live on-demand video, of course, all day long on the Facebook page. Final thoughts, anybody? I know, Dee, you got to get back to schooling, and Johnny, I know you got to get back to work, and Jake's got to get to sleep, and Gina's got to get to school with her kids. Any final thoughts, anyone, or just go ahead, Dee.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. Dee?
Oh, I'm just super excited. It is probably one of the best ways to start your morning, I would assume.
Aww.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and that's not really saying a lot because what's out there is.
I know.
Anyway,
and that's what we've been hearing too, is just how the poor quality of what's out there to get my day started with now. So we just felt that this was a time. There's a hole for it. And,
dude, are we gonna do War of the Roses?
Oh, Demetrius Nicodemus, phone dials.
Yeah, can we do phone scams and then have people call in, and can we do that? That's so awesome.
People are mad at me because I let people know that this shit is fake now,
because
it's fake now, and they're mad at me like I dropped the dime on Santa Claus.
Listen, if they're mad at you, this will make them feel better. Those actors are paid. It's okay. They did pay those people, so it's fine.
Yes. Exactly. All right. Well, I'm excited, you guys. Jake Dickey, Gina, Demetrius, Donnie P, of course, Corey W. King will be joining us, and Sugar Vermont, and Steve Remy. Can't call him Gay Steve anymore because we woke around here.
Yep. So we can just call him Steve Remy.
Wow! Whoa! Wow!
Jake, that was
come on, bro! Don't get canceled before we got a chance to get canceled. That's crazy.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy your day. We'll see you guys Monday, October 19th. Have a great one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Woo.